Welcome back everyone, Oz here, and today I've got some r/OhNoConsequences. As per usual, I'll be reading you the post, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it.
Cross-posted from r/Am I the asshole? Am I the asshole for being concerned about the damage my son did to my car? I am a mother of two, Vanessa, 25, and Brandon, 22. I'm not married to their father, but they both have a relationship with him. They went to visit him this past weekend for Father's Day, and were set to get to my house on Monday. Brandon drove the two of them there, and was supposed to drive back. The car he drives was mine, originally. I paid it off, and did not ask him to buy it from me on the condition that he's responsible with it. He was only paying for gas and maintenance. This was the first car I've ever been able to pay for up front without taking out a loan, which carries sentimental value. So it is my car as far as I'm concerned. A few minutes after they left their dad's, I got a call from Vanessa saying that they had gotten into an accident. I asked if the car was damaged, and she told me it was totaled. I was immediately furious because Brandon knew how hard I worked for that car, and I was very clear that I expected him to care for it. I asked Vanessa to please put her brother on the phone. Instead, their father came on and explained that they were in the emergency room and that our son was receiving treatment. My ex then started to berate me for being more concerned about the property than about the kids, and for getting angry at our son without knowing the situation. But in my defense, I hadn't realized he was injured. To be clear, Brandon will be fine, and the other driver was completely unharmed, but they are all still furious with me. I had assumed that if his injuries were serious, that it would have been the first thing they told me. But that isn't a good enough explanation for them. It's been a few days now, and both kids are still with their father and won't come to stay with me. Am I the asshole? Update, first of all, to be very clear, I do not care about the car more than I care about my children. It was a moment of heightened emotion, and I spoke before thinking. I can concede that it was insensitive. To be clear again, my son has a concussion and a few broken ribs, but will be fine. The car is unsalvageable, and yes, it is insured. But that will not replace the sentimental value, but it's fine. Now I called my children to apologize and explain that I would not have asked about the car first had I known that they were in an ER. Vanessa admitted that she should have told me that first, but that she was very stressed at the time. I was not... Oh, that actually says so much. I'll get to that in a second. I was not able to get far into the conversation when their father came in with some choice words for me, and the call ended shortly after. I believe he may be manipulating the kids into not wanting to talk to me or come over, but they're adults, and that's their prerogative. My plan is to let it play out. An interesting note, we never find out who is at fault for the accident. And an interesting note that I realized additionally is that your kids know who you are. They're very much in understanding of what your reactions will be and how you feel and where your priorities lie. That's why Vanessa's first line of thought when being stressed out was to inform you about the car, because in Vanessa's mind, that's what would have been more important to you. Whether or not that's how you feel doesn't matter. That's the impression you gave your children. And by the sounds of it, from how the conversation went, you never gave Vanessa the opportunity to actually let you know that your son was in the hospital. It sounds like they started with the car because that's what you care most about in their eyes, and before she could even finish, you interrupted and went on a tirade about how the car is so important and how you were disappointed with Brandon before knowing who is at fault or anything along those lines, and my assumption would be if the kids were at fault you would have blatantly stated it, which you never did, and wanted him on the phone to berate him. And even if you want to claim that, well, if I had known they were in the hospital, I wouldn't have said that, you didn't ask. You didn't ask if everyone was okay, which it should have been a red flag that the passenger was the one calling you, and not the driver. Your first thought was to jump straight towards the car. Like, sure, you can assume that if Brandon had injuries, that would be the first thing they should have told you, yeah. But it should tell you a lot that that's not what they told you. That the first thing they thought that you would be fully interested in was the car. So that's what they led with. It's reflective of who they see you as, and you kind of confirm that. You can try to backtrack and backpedal all you want, but at the end of the day, you wanted to yell at Brandon before even confirming his condition. Did you not find it weird that Brandon wasn't the one to call to tell you the car was totaled and that it was Vanessa, the passenger? Your father doesn't even have to step in to manipulate them to turn against you. You did it yourself. And just to end this, I want to read one sentence one more time. To be clear again, my son has a concussion and a few broken ribs, but will be fine. The car is unsalvageable, and yes, it is insured, but that will not replace the sentimental value. But it's fine. Even in the update after being flamed by everyone on Reddit for their reaction, the condition of the car has more thought and effort into it than the condition of her son. Cross-posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for ruining my own gender reveal party? I'm pregnant with a baby boy due in November. My fiance and I don't care much about the sex of our child, so we didn't make too much noise about it once we found out. The only people we'd informed were our parents, their parents, and our siblings. Prior to this, my father's girlfriend of 3 years had been asking me about my plans for a gender reveal party. I've always been clear about not wanting one. When I announced my son's gender to them, she expressed disappointment that I hadn't changed my mind about a party. I don't like gender reveals. Never have, never will. I prefer baby showers, which I think feel more about the actual child. I never tried to hide that opinion either. Days later, my father's girlfriend invited me over for tea at their apartment. My dad was out of town. When I got there, about a dozen people popped out of hiding to surprise me. There were pink and blue decorations everywhere, which made what was going on pretty clear. As I stood there in shock, my father's girlfriend excitedly told me they were throwing me a surprise gender reveal party. Since I'd already told her, she had taken it upon herself to order a cake with colorful frosting, decorate the apartment, and invite a bunch of people over. The guests included her mother, whom I don't get along with, some of her friends, my mother-in-law, not my mom, and 4 of my friends. As I later found out, my mother-in-law and friends had been told I'd changed my mind about gender reveals. I had not. Still in the doorway, I looked over at everyone and said, "It's a boy! You guys can go home now." I left without looking back. Hours later, my father called me furious that I'd ruined the party. He said his girlfriend had put a lot of effort, money, and love into planning it, and I should have shown respect and gratitude for it. Apparently, she hadn't stopped crying since I left. It's been almost a week, and they're both still upset, even after I explained I never wanted that party in the first place. They're insisting I could have sucked it up for an hour, or at least cut the cake. I mean, what were you expecting? You're blatantly told that someone doesn't like something, and you think, you know what, I'm gonna surprise them with the thing they don't like. Then you surprise them with the thing they don't like. And then, surprise, surprise, they don't like the thing they don't like. And leave. Now you're gonna complain and cry about them not liking the thing they explicitly told you don't like? That's on you. You fucked that up. It's like being shocked an arachnophobe doesn't like their spider-themed birthday party. What are you expecting? There is a comment thread on the original post that I do want to go over because I think it actually touches upon a part that I didn't notice at first, or it just didn't initially cross my mind. Sorsha4564 comments, "Not the asshole. This smacks of her trying to prove that she cares about you more than your mom. Especially seeing as how either your mom wasn't invited or she turned down the invitation to respect your wishes. She doesn't seem to get that the way to prove she cares about you at all is to actually listen to what you want and don't want." Lofi responds, "I asked my mom and she confirmed she wasn't invited. According to my father's girlfriend, she didn't have her number. That's probably true, but I have no idea how she could have gotten my mother-in-law's." Yeah, wait, what the fuck? Sorsha responds once more, "She expects you to believe that your father wouldn't have had her number or been able to get a hold of your mom somehow, even if they're not in contact at all. He could still have pointed her in the right direction to get it. So she doesn't just stomp all over your boundaries, she's insulting your intelligence." Lovely. Lofi responds, "I think the real reason is that she knew my mom wouldn't back her up. Had my mother been invited, she would have told me everything. She knows I wouldn't want a gender reveal." And yeah, that makes complete sense. She can easily get the father on board because, well, she's dating him. And then just simply lying to everyone else, and they're not going to want to confirm and accidentally ruin the gender reveal surprise party, especially if OPs change their mind, so they're not going to double check. But the mother would be like, "Hold on, I'm going to double check this with my daughter and actually make sure that you're not lying to me." And then spoil the beans. So yeah, that definitely makes sense as to why the mother wasn't involved. Like, shocker, you set up a party that someone specifically stated they did not want, and you're surprised that they reacted with, "I did not want this," and left. That's the consequences. Cross-posted to r/am I the asshole, and buckle in. Am I the asshole for yelling at my mom about replacing me with her new kid? I know it sounds bad, but hear me out. So I, 27 male, and my mom, 45 female, have never had a good relationship. My dad, 52 male, worked a lot of hours, so it was always just me and my mom. All she did was nag me constantly. It was always about that shit. She never listened to what I wanted. For an example, she'd pack me these really elaborate lunchboxes, and when she found out I was giving it to my friend, she got really upset even though I told her before that I wanted normal foods. To make it worse, she guilt-tripped me by packing my friend his own lunch and dropped it off every morning when she drove me to school. It was a passive-aggressive stunt. This has to be rage bait. Long story short, my dad and his coworker clicked. Things happened and my mom freaked out and they divorced. They clicked. Your mom freaked out and they divorced. Did they do more than click? I'm sorry. I was 16 and wanted to live with my dad and my stepmom, who was way more chill. She let me live and didn't nag me about my homework and stuff. My mom tried to get custody, but the judge let me decide. My dad and stepmom didn't make me contact her. A few years later, I changed my number for insurance stuff, moved out of state, and we lost contact. She was literally already married and had a kid, but she didn't tell me. How? Whatever. It wasn't 11 years of no contact like people said, just a couple of years out of touch. So she basically lied to me. Recently, my grandparents had their anniversary and they somehow invited my mom, even though she's the ex. I didn't think she would show up. She came in with her husband and a 5-year-old kid, my half-brother. My mom had married someone without telling me and had a kid. I was so upset that she hadn't even told me. I yelled at her. I was really hurt that she replaced me with the perfect, well-behaved kid. She was going to pretend I didn't exist so her perfect life could continue. She threw a tantrum and left with her new family. My grandparents asked me to leave, but my dad and my stepmom had my back. They said it was ridiculous that she hadn't told any of us that she had got remarried and had a kid. My grandparents said that they knew and were invited to her wedding. Now my dad is mad at his parents, and I'm mad at my mom, and my life has turned to shit. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Edit, I don't care that she remarried and had a kid. I care that she hid it from everyone. Jesus! She was a helicopter parent and didn't let me breathe my entire life, and guilt-tripped on how she loved me so much when she didn't even care to look at me once during the anniversary party. It's not like she used to tell me I was the light of her life or shit. It's not like I'm her son. Now I'm nothing to her because she has a new family and a new son that she can mother the shit out of and then abandon when he's a real person instead of a perfect dress-up doll. This has to be fucking rage bait. Like, going back to the first part with the lunches when I didn't want to interrupt this, like, she just wanted to make you nice lunches, dude. And then when she found out your friend was taking them, she was probably like, oh, he's probably really hungry, so I'll just make him his own lunch too, so that way my son also gets his lunch. Wasn't a fucking guilt tripping, dude. She just wanted to be a sick, awesome mother and make you nice lunches and get your friends fed as well. But no, you took it as guilt tripping. And then you're the one who chose to have no contact with her. You chose your father and the woman he cheated on her with. And you're shocked when she didn't contact you after you changed your number and moved to a new state and explicitly made the choice not to contact her and chose your father for full custody? And you're surprised that she didn't want to look at you because you literally ghosted her and abandoned her. Like, she took the hint that you wanted no contact and didn't contact you. Like, she respected your boundaries and now you're mad at her for doing so? Like, I guarantee that if she reached out to you to check in, you would have continued to call her a helicopter parent. Ugh, stop reaching out to me, Mom. I'm not your kid anymore. She just wanted to be your mother, dude, and the only examples that you could deliver of her being a bad mom was, let me see, checks notes, she packed you intricate lunches, and nagged you to do your homework. Also, someone in the comments posted this as just like one of OP's comments, random internet stranger. OP's mom couldn't have told him that she remarried even if she tried. Quote, I didn't go no contact or whatever with her. I just wasn't interested in the same conversation over and over. How are you? And what are you doing? How was school? How are your friends? It's literally the same shit over and over. I was just tired of hearing that. So I just stopped picking up her calls. I expected her to at least try to reach out about big stuff like getting married. But of course, dude just blames his mom for everything. Like, OP genuinely feels like the boomer straw man of how their millennial kids treat them in their eyes. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it does to me. And this just has to be some kind of rage bait, but I've seen crazier on Reddit, so I don't even know if that can even be the case. Also, from some comments that I found, OP attempted to scrub the language of the post to try to water down his antics. Sayer Song commented 4 years ago, "You're the asshole. Nothing in your story states that you are anything but a complete total asshole of the story. Let me do a rundown for you. 1. Quote, all she did was nag me about finishing my homework or eating healthy foods or wearing good clothes or going to bed on time. That is normal parenting behavior. She did that because she wanted you to be educated, healthy, taken care of, and well rested." Interrupting the comment here, this is what I'm talking about. He scrubbed the language of the post to try to make it sound like there's at least some wiggle room the mom may have been not the best parent. 2. For example, she'd packed these really elaborate lunch boxes, and when she found out I was throwing the food away at school or giving it to my friend, she got really upset, even though I told her before that I'd rather eat pretzels or mozzarella sticks from the school lunch. Again, she wanted you to be healthy. Eating only things like pretzels and mozzarella sticks and other junk food is not healthy. And just to go back to the original post for what he edited the post to be, what he changed it to was, for example, she'd packed these really elaborate lunch boxes, and when she found out I was giving it to my friend, she got really upset, even though I told her before that I wanted normal foods. The next part that OP edited isn't obvious until point 5. Quote, she came in with her husband, a guy way too young for her, and a 5-year-old kid. My half-brother. My mom had married someone without telling me and had a kid when she was way too old to even think about kids. Oh boy, am I gonna have fun with this one. First off, you do not say how old your stepdad is, but from your attitude, I'm guessing that he is, at most, maybe 5 years younger than her. Also, she's 45 and her son is 5, meaning that she had him at 40. That is not too old to even think about kids. You sound downright misogynistic. Many women have babies in their 40s. We do not have expiration dates on us that says we have to stop wanting kids or having them before we hit the big 40. While I had my son at 24, my sister had her son at 48. Our only expiration date for physically giving birth is called menopause. And for a majority of women, that does not come into play until our 60s, and 40-year-olds are a lot healthier and active than they were in the olden days, where some did still give birth well into their 50s/60s. Also, again, how the hell was she supposed to tell you when you essentially cut her out of your life? So, yeah, I wanted to include this comment, or at least parts of it, because it shows that OP went back and edited their comment to try and change some of the things that he had previously stated as an attempt to wash away his malice. And because he was going back and editing the post, there was a line that really bugged me that made me try to search for more context, but I couldn't. It wasn't 11 years of no contact like people said, just a couple of years out of touch. That line bothered me because who was saying that? Was it family? Was it someone else? It felt very out of place. But now knowing that he went back and edited the post, that was definitely thrown in there as a way to cover his tracks. I feel fucking horrible for his mom. Imagine putting this much effort into raising your kid for them to become this. I can only really hope that this is because of the father's influence of him being so carefree and letting him get away with so much as a kid, which led him to believe that his mother was just a nagging hag. Cross posted from r/confessions. The group chat between me and the boys got leaked. The consequences have been extreme. Me and my buddies use Discord a ton, and we have a server we made with just us in it, and we post tons of offensive jokes and memes, pictures of girls we've dated or hooked up with, no newts, we're not that disrespectful, boasts of trolling we've done, etc. Well, this guy, Derek, got into our circle of friends on our main server, and we thought Derek was a cool dude, so we invited him to join our server. All 8 of us actually liked the dude, and he seemed chill and thought he'd fit in. However, instead, This asshole screenshotted everything, as in literally shit going back 5+ years, then shared it all in our community, exposing us. A lot of people are pissed. One girl my buddy dated briefly is furious that raunchy text messages she sent were in there too. A couple people we made fun of by photoshopping, oh dude, what the fuck? Pictures of them are super butthurt too. There's also a ton of Israel/Palestine and Russia/Ukraine memes that people thought were in poor taste. Now a bunch of people think we're all just terrible people now and don't want to be our friends anymore, but there's a good few people who actually want to join at least, lol. Either way, if you're reading this, you're a cocksucker, Derek. A pathetic mama's boy who decided to leak shit and to make dudes who called you brother look bad. Fuck you. This is just Mean Girls, but like 20 years later and with dudes. This is literally the plot of Mean Girls, but with a Discord server instead of a burn book. You're the Regina George of your own story, and Derek is Katie. Oh my god. Also, if you haven't seen Mean Girls, I would highly recommend it. It is a lot of fun. But yeah, if you were photoshopping your classmates, posting offensive memes, and just doing a bunch of really shitty stuff, including sending raunchy texts that someone sent you in private and in confidence, yeah, you guys deserve this. Have fun. Cross posted from r/am I the asshole. Am I the asshole for kicking my parents out and saying, this is why I was so fucked up as a kid? Throwaway and on phone. I had parents over for dinner this weekend, in their 60s, and my daughter, 10, asked if she could play us a song she had been practicing on her keyboard. She gets lessons. It wasn't perfect. Few missed notes, a couple pauses, but she did really well. She looked up at the end, massive smile, and I started clapping. And my parents started fucking laughing. Not just a little chuckle, a massive fucking belly laugh. Them both. My mom asked her if it was her first time playing it, and my dad said it had to have been. A dog could have played better. It was like my daughter was shrinking on the spot, and she looked down and said, no, I've had 2 lessons, but doing it with 2 hands is hard. And they just laughed. Even fucking harder. I just stood up, took their cups, and said, leave. Now. My mom tried to say about how they hadn't finished their drinks. They wanted to hear another song, etc. And I said, get your stuff and get the fuck out of my house right now. My dad started doing this huffing thing he does when someone dares to speak up to him. My mom said that there's no need to be like this, that I can't protect her all the time, and she's just preparing my daughter for the real world. I said, it's not teaching the real world, they're just nasty little bullies picking on children, and shit like this is why I was so fucked up as a kid. Now leave. They got their stuff and left. I sat with my daughter and explained how proud of her I was and how well she was doing. To ignore them. They were just being cruel because they don't know any other way to be. And asked if she could please play it again, which she did. On Sunday, I messaged them and said that until they can behave like decent human beings, that we're taking a break away from them. My dad replied that it was my choice, but he didn't realize he raised me to be so precious. Now my lovely brown-nosing gold child of a sister is getting involved. She phoned me today with my parents' version of events, telling me I was a nasty piece of work and should never speak to my parents that way. That I'm wrapping my child in cotton wool and blah blah blah. I just told her to go fuck herself and hung up. I'm not asking if I'm in the wrong for standing up for my daughter. I'll always do that. But I did go pretty 0 to 100. I kicked them out straight away. I swore at them and in front of my daughter. I did raise my voice at the end when I said leave. I was, and still am, angry. I don't think I'd even accept an apology from them at this point. This behavior isn't new. It's decades old. But this is the first time it affected my daughter. Did I go too far? React too much? Should I have tried to be calmer? Talk it out? I don't know. Am I the asshole? Edit, lots of people think I'm a mom, lol. Nope, single dad. Also, thank you all for your comments. Definitely calming the anger I felt and making me feel less shit for the way I reacted. Edit 2. I really appreciate all the comments, even the ones calling me Mama Bear. I never doubted I was in the right for standing up for my daughter, just how I went about it. I'm gonna sit and talk with my daughter about it all either tomorrow after school or on the weekend. My parents and sister can just disappear for all I care right now. The commenters that said they wished they had someone like me when they were younger, I get it, man. I really do. I hope you got someone now or are able to be that someone. Reading all these comments definitely changed my anger into sadness/realization that I'm not alone with the shitty parents. Thank you for sharing, and thanks for the comments, guys. Even the trolls, you were great. Honestly, the best takeaway from the story is to be the adult you wish you had as a child. Even if you may have gone 0 to 100, your daughter at least knows for the rest of her life that you've got her back, and you're willing to throw hands over it. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. Your parents were being fucking ridiculous. They were being assholes, bullies, psychotic. Just the wrong kind of person to have in your life. If their response to a child who's learning an instrument is to belly laugh at them for not having the perfect note placement, for still learning how to play it, and still just actively trying to grow, then they shouldn't be in your life. They're not introducing her to the real world. They're just stifling creativity and being bastards about it, because it's quite obvious all they know is misery. My only fear with this story is that your daughter is going to have a negative reaction and feel self-conscious because of what your parents did. That it's going to forever just linger in the back of her mind of, well, shit, was that the honest reaction? And my father is just coddling me? Or are they just being assholes? And I'm worried there's always going to be doubt attached to that, and hopefully the father is able to, was able to, have that conversation and teach and tell them that these are just horrible people who aren't worth giving the time of day. Cross posted from r/relationship advice. How do I explain to my, 29 male, girlfriend, 26 female, that I didn't cheat with her sister, 29 female? So, there's a complete misunderstanding on what happened last night, and my girlfriend is angry. I can understand why she's upset, but it's not what it looks like. So last night, I went to a Juneteenth party, and my girlfriend was supposed to go with us, but she got sick. I was gonna stay inside with her, but she insisted I go out and have fun. So her sister and I went together, and it was supposed to be the three of us, but it turned out to be just her sister and I. So we go to the party, and there were moments where we were grinding, and she sat on my lap, but like in a platonic manner. Her friend was apparently at this party, and she took video/pictures and sent them to my girlfriend, which is a gross violation of my privacy, and I look at her friend differently now. Either way, my girlfriend was heated. I tried to explain to my girlfriend that we didn't do anything. Even her friend told her she didn't see us do anything more than that. We didn't kiss or anything, but my girlfriend still finds it inappropriate. I tried to explain this won't happen again. If she finds it inappropriate, I respect your boundaries. I was more so looking at it from the perspective like, when girls dance on each other, it doesn't mean anything because it's purely platonic. I was just looking at it the same way because her sister? You know. I would never do anything or cheat because I'm not that type of guy. The thought of being with her sister/cheating makes me puke because cheating is disgraceful. Did I miss the memo on platonic grinding now being a thing? Or is he just kinda trying to save face right now? Also, the phrase platonic grinding sounds like a really bad podcast name. Specifically one where one of the hosts is gay and the other one is just like his buddy, but he's the one that suggests the name for it, and there's just really awkward tension between them. And yeah. But like, anyways, buddy, you had her sister, like, giving you a lap dance, essentially. And it was a public environment. And you're upset that your girlfriend found out that her sister gave you a lap dance. Also, gotta love the bit of moral grandstanding that's thrown in throughout the post. Just definitely a bit of fun.
Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code OZ at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.